beloveds online. Everybody turn and wave. Let's let him get the wide shot. Hold on. We're waving, everybody. We're waving to our beloveds on Facebook, our beloveds on YouTube. Oh, and what do I have to announce? I have to announce that Tiana and the crew are back in Albuquerque. What's one happy Kelly grandma? Let's see what's going on. I wanted to give everybody, Michaela, hello. I wanted to give everybody a heads up of what's coming over the next couple months. We will be continuing our Sunday gatherings at 10 o'clock right here in person and online, and all of our special services that we would normally do through the holiday season. Everything will be happening on Sundays at 10 o'clock. So whether we're doing Kwanzaa or solstice or Christmas or Yule or whatever the thing is, it will be here on Sunday at 10 o'clock. All right? So hopefully that just simplifies life for everybody. I know it does for me. And we will be moving into, beginning on November 7th, our new series on celebrating oneness, which will be a celebration of community, care, and culture for the rest of the year. I'm really excited about some of the things we have planned. You're going to have an opportunity to meet our new campus mates. The Manara Muslim community is sharing campus with us, and their Imam Abdur Rauf will be coming and praying with us and sharing with us on November 7th. We've got special musical guests coming to help kick off the series. Melissa and Z will be here on November 7th, so be ready for that. We are going to have a musical journey in our gathering on November 7th. I know, I'm excited about that as well. All right, I think that's all I know. Jeff, anything we need to let people know in general? Okay. Where is Clarissa Crow? Clarissa, come on up and open us up with prayer.
Yes? Oh, it's definitely working. Good morning, everyone. Oh, it's exciting. How about we all just take a nice deep breath together? And so just breathing into this moment right now, I recognize the presence of the divine, expressing as each beautiful person in this space, as each of our hearts, as each of our minds, as each of our bodies. And I not only recognize this presence of spirit, but I know that it is here. And you know how I know? Because I can feel in my body, I can feel in my soul the love, the juicy, amazing love that is present in this room right now. The gratitude that is present in this room, the excitement that is present in this room, and all the other feelings that we might have brought with us in here are blessed and are divine, and I am so grateful for the magic that happens when we're together. Here, being in relationship with each other, in community, it is so amazing. That energy, that vibration that we create, the power of our love. And I feel that here right now. I feel that in the deep connection that I know I have to the divine, that I know you have to the divine, and that I know we have to each other. And when we come together in this way, I know that love just ripples out. It ripples out and it blesses all of Albuquerque, all of New Mexico, and it just continues to expand, blessing this whole beautiful planet. And so I just celebrate that. Celebrate all of the deep learning that gets to happen in relationship, all of the growth and expansion that gets to happen when we do this thing called life together and this thing called transformation. And I know that it is so good. And so I just bless our time together today, knowing that it unfolds perfectly. It can be no other way. We just allow it to be, and so it is.
So it is. So let us remain in this prayerful space, and I invite each of you to just let rise whatever you've brought in and are carrying in your heart that may be heavy, anything that you would like to celebrate. And I invite you to deepen that prayer and offer that prayer in community by lighting a candle on our prayer altar. So you are welcome to go now to that end of the room lighting your prayer candles. Any of you who would like to have a prayer card brought to you, just raise your hand, and one of our ushers will be happy to bring you a prayer card. Stephen? Prayers are happening. Any of you who would like to take that a step further and a deeper, wider allowing of being held in support in your prayer, I invite you to come on up to the microphone and share your prayer on the microphone so that we can all hold you in prayer. Hang on one second, Ari. Let's get you turned on.
Okay. Is it on? Yes. Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm asking for prayer for my partner right now, Pushkara. He's quite ill. He is starting to heal, but it's been a very slow process. And I'm totally overwhelmed because I haven't been a caregiver for many years, and it's been going on a month, and I think it's going to be a little longer. So if anybody here has any time that could help, I don't drive, which is a difficulty. I do have a ride service that does help. But if anybody has time that they could help, I would really appreciate the help and support. And also your prayers are very needed. So thank you and namaste.
And so it is.
I would just like to express gratitude for answered prayer. There are a lot of miracles happening in my life and in the lives of others of you that I know in this community, and I know it's because of the power of all of our prayers. So thank you guys so much.
So it is.
Thank you so much. I too want to express gratitude. I know sometimes it seems like a little prayer, but I've asked you to pray for me and my peace around my cat because I worry about him so very much. Being outside, he likes to stay outside even at night, and I was so concerned. And the last couple of weeks, I found some peace around that, so I want to say thank you. I've realized that by letting him live his life more fully, that it gives me the opportunity to celebrate that. And that brings me great joy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, anybody else like to come up and share their prayer?
Good morning. Today I'm staying in the space of knowing that as I stay in a space of knowing that my life is blessed, no matter how it turns out to look at the moment, that if I stay in a space of knowing that there's so much gloriousness available even in anything that looks unpleasant, and as I stay in that space of knowing that the sky is the limit for each and every one of us, I know that as I stay in that space that I change the world, because it's up to me to stay there so that I radiate that out, which also affects other people because we're all connected. So staying in that space of knowing that no matter how life shows up, it is absolutely glorious. And so it is.
So it is. So let us all just anchor that, hold all these prayers in our heart space, knowing they have already remained answered in the prayer itself. Beautiful. Thank you, everybody. All right. I got some feedback this week about our conversation on relationships with Yvette Trujillo, who joined me last week. And lots of feedback from some of you who were stirred up around the ideas we were discussing last week in relationship. And I said to every one of you, hang on, because we haven't even finished yet. So I want to continue our conversation on relationships today and talk about, the definition of relationship, which distilled down means the state of being connected. The state of being connected. How many of you in your life right now feel like you spend conscious time in the state of connection? Yes. Because the reality is, we're in connection to something at all times, right? But when we begin to bring real conscious awareness to our connections to one another, to our connections to our beloveds, whether they are romantic partners or friends or family or children or parents or whatever that may be, bringing conscious awareness to those connections can be a game changer to the totality of our lives. How many of you are seeking different kinds of connection? Many of you. And what do we imagine is in the way? Our thoughts? Ourselves? I'm watching all the finger pointing. Jerry? Expectations. We could do a whole series on that. Say louder. Fear of loss. Fear of rejection, anybody? Yeah. Fear of vulnerability. Just fear. Just fear. Frank, what is this, just fear of everything? Embracing it all. It's exactly what we are being asked to do, right? In spiritual practice, when we are saying yes to spiritual living, we have to be willing to embrace it all. We have to be willing to recognize that all of our connections, the ones that we are in, the ones that we are not in, the ones we would like, the ones we don't like, they are all part of the wholeness that is our spiritual wholeness, that is our spiritual life. And we have to embrace it all. We have to welcome that entire experience. But one of the things that I've been thinking a lot about in spiritual community is we have a tendency, as we do in so many things, is to start to get into duality around relationships, right? We think of our spiritual connections and the other ones, right? Our spiritual friendships I even remember in much of my life before I really grew up, was thinking that I wanted a spiritual partner. Anybody else? I wanted a spiritual partner. I wanted my romantic partner to be a spiritual relationship, as if there was some other possibility. Like, for real. Like, if it's all one, then they're all spiritual relationships, yes? But again, it matters what consciousness we bring to it, what awareness we bring to it, and what kind of honesty we are willing to look at ourselves with. And then we get into law of attraction. And then we get into the law of attraction around many things, but law of attraction around relationship. And then it gets really confusing, because there's metaphysical attraction, and then there's like physical attraction. And they are not the same thing. And boy, does that get confusing. Anybody? Yeah. Anybody online? Put it in the comments chat. I know it's confusing, but here's the deal. I'm going to try and elementary break it down. Physical attraction is based on polarity. It's actually based on opposite. We tend to be physically attracted to someone who has a polar opposite way of being to us. So typically that looks like someone with a feminine energy is going to be attracted to someone with a more masculine energy, having nothing to do with gender, by the way. It's an energetic thing. We tend to be attracted to our opposite in that way. However, in metaphysics, like attracts like, which could explain some of the mess we find ourselves in upon occasion. Yes? Because we don't love the idea that like attracts like. We don't love the idea that every relationship we are currently in, all of them, friendships, co-work relationships, romantic partnerships, familiar relationships, neighbors, all of those relationships are metaphysically accurate. We are always attracting metaphysically to us what we are. Take a minute. Scan your relationship life for a moment and understand that every relationship you are currently inhabiting, whatever role you are playing in it, is a reflection of you. Any relationships, as you scan your relationship landscape, that you would rather not claim as a reflection of yourself? Any relationships in your relationship landscape right now that's hard for you to accept that they are a reflection of who you are? Maybe you think they're so fabulous that they couldn't possibly be a reflection of you. Or maybe you think they're so broken they couldn't be a reflection of you. But if we believe in the metaphysical reality of the universe, that vibrational frequencies cannot hold space with things that are wildly different than themselves, then every relationship you are in is a vibrational match. Everyone. Ernest Holmes says, like attracts like, and it is also true that we may become attracted to something which is greater than our previous experience by first embodying the atmosphere of our desire. I love that so much. Because here's the thing, how many of us would like to see some changes in our relationships? Whether we want to attract new love, whether we would like a healthier interaction with some of our family members. And if it feels outside of our current experience, it probably is. If you are not having the experience you want to be having right now, there is a shift that gets to happen. And one of the ways to do that, Ernest is telling us, is to embody the desire for the experience you would like to be having. So I'm going to take us through a process for a minute, and I invite you, those of you watching online, to close your eyes along with us and do this as well. So just close your eyes if you're willing, take a few deep breaths, and bring into your mind's eye a desired experience of relationship. What would you like to be experiencing that maybe is not present in your current experience? And I want you to allow yourself to feel the desire for that. To really sink into not only the wish, but the longing. How badly you want to be having this experience, and allow yourself to feel that longing, to feel that desire. Let it get juicy. And then I want you to allow that feeling to move through your whole being. Let it expand out into your arms. Expand out into your toes, all the way down out through the bottoms of your feet. Let it grow up through your neck and shoulders and through the top of your head, expanding beyond your body. And I want you to ask yourself, can you allow this very feeling to shift and change how you are thinking and how you are being about your relationships? I'm going to give you a few more seconds with that question. And then I'd like to invite anybody who's willing to come on up to the microphone and share any new thought that maybe rose, any new idea that you may get to take with you as a result of allowing yourself to feel that longing and desire. And I promise when you say it out loud, it gets more real, it gets bigger, it expands further. And for those of you online, Facebook and YouTube, put it in the comments feed.
I'm Scott. What came to me was anything that feels like I wish my relationships would be more like this or like that is now in the space where I can move on it. I can initiate that, and there's no limit to what I can initiate and see what happens. So rather than feeling like a victim of, I wish people would just get it and then magically show up in the way that my mind is preparing it all, just ask.
Wow. That seems radical. Right? But when we hear it out loud, isn't it silly? Like, I could just ask. Come on up.
Hi, I'm Scott also.
We can hear you, Scott.
You can?
Yep.
So, relationship, I've realized, first and foremost, begins with myself. and how my inner relationship affects my outer relationship first and foremost. And I think that's what's being asked of all of us, is to get real with ourselves rather than looking outward. I wanted to acknowledge the core group of people here that have provided such love and such service through these difficult times. It's really, really needed. I feel like the old institutions and the old power structures are crumbling, and that in the near future, humanity, which includes us, is going to be given the gift of recreating it in a way that we can use the red pill of love rather than the blue pill of fear. And it feels like it's about getting out of fear and getting into love and all the associated feelings with that. And that I think it's going to be an actual major evolutionary jump for humanity, and it's going to be folks like us that are being love that are going to lead the way. So thank you for your service.
Amen, amen. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Scott.
It was interesting because when you first asked that question, Reverend Amani, I went blank, totally blank, because I realized for almost 4 years since I've been out here from California, that's all I've been doing is thinking about how I wanted things to be and saying that they weren't that way and being miserable about it. And finally, I realized, through these teachings and also all the other teachings I'm involved with yoga and Buddhism, that I just have to realize that I am the love, that I am that, and, that other people don't have to change. What needs to change is how I see things and see people, and, recognize the love within me. And I feel like these teachings have helped me so much with this. But it was interesting because my first thing was, oh, I don't have that anymore. I finally dropped that, and I realized that although I'm going through a challenging situation right now, I'm happy with myself, and I'm actually happy with the person that I'm with. And for 4 years, I've been struggling with, thinking I should leave, and I love him, but we're not right for each other. And I don't feel that way anymore. I feel like that's not really important. What's important is that love exists, and we are that, and I'm grateful for that.
Amen. Thank you, Ari.
Hi, I'm Nancy, and I don't like to speak in front of crowds.
Is that true?
Just kidding. Just kidding. Recently, I was on a road trip by myself, and gosh, it was wonderful. But I was going to some places where the average person had a lot of opposite beliefs to what I believe in. And I was going to be spending time with a lot of people who I disagreed with on this and that and the other thing. But what I found was every single person I spent time with, I found I could love them, and I could really enjoy them, and I could relate to them at a different level. I mean, politics went away and other things like that. And it was just me and this person. And I haven't laughed that much in years. I laughed myself almost sick for 3 weeks on the road, talking to people that were as far right as I am far left. But it just didn't matter. I could relate to them. Finally, this philosophy is really sinking into my heart, out of my head and into my heart. And that's what made it the most wonderful, wonderful trip. And I'm so grateful for that. That's it.
Thank you. I was thinking, I don't know who said it, but the longest journey we'll ever take is the journey from head to heart. 18 inches, yeah. Yeah. And Rumi says, love is the bridge between you and everything. Love is the bridge between you and everything. And if that is what we believe, right, as Scott said, that it is ours to be love, it is ours to make a way for the love that I call God to move and have its being on this planet. And I can't think of a greater demonstration of that love than in our relationships. The reality is that's probably our greatest classroom, right, in life, is the way we relate to one another, the way we build bridges between ourselves in circumstances, like Nancy shared, that seem impossible, that seem like there cannot be a bridge. And yet Rumi brings us back to love is the thing that bridges everything. There is no set of circumstances, there is no person who is outside of that possibility. And we argue with life. I thought Ari's sharing was this beautiful demonstration of how we argue with life. And I wanted to share from Byron Katie, her book, Loving What Is. People new to the work, which is the name of what she provides, what she teaches, people new to the work often say to me, but it would be disempowering to stop my argument with reality. If I simply accept reality, I'll become passive. I may even lose the desire to act. And I answer them with the question, can you really know that that is true? Which is more empowering? I wish I hadn't lost my job, or I lost my job, what can I do now? And I think that's part of the deal with relationships is we spend a lot of time in fear. We spend a lot of time trying to avoid the reality we find ourselves in, whether that is a reality of not the relationship I want, or the reality of this person is being exactly who they are and I don't like it, or the reality of I am having an experience that I don't want to be having, and I don't actually want to be in that reality. So I do all this stuff to push that reality away, to argue with that reality. I wish this weren't so. I wish they would just do what I say. I wish, my thighs were 2 inches smaller. I wish, blah, blah. All of those things, all of the ways that we busy ourselves, all the ways that we numb ourselves, all the ways that we push reality away. Even the ways we do that in spiritual community by spiritual bypassing, right? La, 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 all is well, all is well. God has got it. It's going to be fine. All is well. But I'm just not going to look real close at it. All of that is arguing with reality. And the exercise I just took us through, here's the nuanced difference between being fully present with what is and being fully present with a different desired experience. They are not in conflict. But it is not until we really allow ourselves to be with what is. I thought Nancy's example was perfect. Being totally present with the differences in those relationships. Being totally heart open to the reality of the differences. We may be on opposite ends of the political spectrum, and I can be totally present to that reality and desire to have an experience of love with that person. And allow my greater desire to be love to move me into connection. Even if I think that's not possible. But it's because the desire to experience connection, the desire to be love is greater than the BS we think is true. Which is why I love the Byron Katie question. Is that really true? Is this person really unlovable? Is this person someone I cannot connect with just because we have political disagreement? Is that really true? Or is what Rumi says, love is the bridge between you and everything, more true? You know, Scott's saying it's as simple as asking for what I want. Is that more true than believing I can't have what I want and everybody sucks? Do we want to just continue to be in argument with reality? Or do we want to go so deeply into reality, lean so far into our actual experience that we can then allow ourselves to be with what we actually want, what we deeply desire? And where it's missing, we get to be honest with ourselves about that. And we get to allow that deep desire to be the thing that moves us. We can trust that desire. One of my favorite things to remind people is your desire is God's desire. They are not different things. So if you are desiring more love in your life, if you are desiring more connection, that is God's desire through you. And rather than arguing with life and poop and being just all up in the pout about that not being what is so, what if you just got deep into the desire for it? And brought your full attention to being an embodiment of that desire. Ernest Holmes, the founder of our teaching, is saying this is how we grow beyond our current circumstances that we would like to have change. Is we embody the desire for where we're trying to go. We embody the desire for how we would like it to be. But I don't think we actually know what we really want until we get really honest with what is. I think we tell a lot of stories about what we want. The story I used to tell in my 20s about that spiritual partner. Good Lord have mercy, that is not what I wanted. And it kept showing up, and I would be like, what the hell is this? Not what I was thinking. But as we get more present to what is, to what really is, the parts we like, the parts we don't like, the places that feel out of alignment, the places that feel deeply in alignment, when we get really present to that, we can let the desire for more alignment, for more expression of love, to come into our being rather than just be a story we're telling. Because the reality is the way that we attract metaphysically is based on science. It is a vibrational fact. But if we are not getting honest about where we are currently vibrating at, then we are not at choice about doing anything differently. We just hang out and like, la 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 la, I'm just gonna keep my little blinders on. And that's part of the bitter pill in spiritual transformation. That word transformation, it's really like, it's cute and it seems so glossy. I'm transforming. And the reality is, it's like, oh, wow, that's a reality I have not wanted to look closely at. Getting really honest with the conditions of our lives as a result of our vibrational reality it can be tough work to really look honestly at the landscape we find ourselves living in. And then look at, okay, how am I participating in the co-creation of this landscape? And then doing so in a way that it's just information, right? Getting honest about like, okay, if this is what's showing up in my life, and this is a measure of what I am vibrationally attracting, when I can get honest about that and be like, okay, this probably says something about where I'm resonating at right now, where I'm vibrating at right now. This is not an opportunity to beat ourselves up. This is not an opportunity to blame ourselves for our woefully lacking consciousness. But it is an opportunity to get some information. And just honestly look at, okay, I'm not having the relationship experience I want to be having. Okay. What do I want to be having? What do I want to be experiencing? And let me take this opportunity, after I've recognized the reality I am finding myself in, let me allow that reality to move me deeply into my desire. What do I deeply desire? And because I know how it works, as soon as we begin to shift out of denial, out of arguing with reality, out of pouting, and move into that desire, move into that experience that we would like to be having, even if we don't know what it looks like, doesn't matter. But if we know how it feels, we now shift our vibrational reality. As soon as we move into that feeling, as soon as we shift into how good it is to be experiencing greater love, I have just raised my frequency, which now shifts my reality. That's how it works in metaphysics. I can't help you so much with your romantic attractions. That's all you. But when we can get honest with ourselves and step fully, bring our full attention, prioritize the good vibrations we want to be hanging out in, it will change the landscape. We do get to have what we want. And it is as simple as asking. But we got to ask in here first. What's out of alignment? What would alignment feel like? What would greater love feel like? Do I believe I get to have it? Rumi also says, and I believe Clarissa shared this in Spirit Calling this week, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. And that really is always the work. Whatever you want to shift in your life, whether it's relationships or health or money or whatever it is that you would like to be having a different experience of, the only task in front of you is to honestly assess the barriers within yourself that you could remove so that love bridge to everything is accessible. So one last thing. Let's all take another moment. Let's go within. And I'm going to have you locate a barrier. Whatever that might look like in your life, whatever it might sound like or feel like, whatever words you may give to this barrier, I want you to identify what's one thing that could be in the way for you right now. And I invite you to join us on Facebook and YouTube. What is one thing that can be in the way for you right now? And as that answer rises in consciousness, I want you to take note of it. Write it down. Turn to somebody on your left or right or behind you or in front of you and say it out loud. No, it's not just in theory. I mean it. Turn to somebody and say it. Or write it down. It's not hypothetical. For those of you online, if you're watching alone, write it down. Turn to your person on the couch or next to you. Take another minute or so. So good to see you guys. All right, a few more seconds. Wow, y'all had a lot to say about your barriers. There's a lot of chitty chat. I can't wait to see what y'all have said on the comments. All right, but here's what I know about barriers. We entirely make them up. And here's what I know about prayer, is we get to entirely undo them. So let's take your little pesky barriers into prayer. Because what I know about the One is it is all powerful, ever present, never missing, and it is always good. We could call it the good. And because I know that the One is present right here, right now, all powerful, ever good and great and love itself, I know that every single soul in this room, every single soul on Facebook and YouTube right now is the very presence of that love. So any experience of barrier, any experience of something in the way simply dissipates because God is never in the way. God is the way. God is the love that is the bridge that takes us to all the places we've ever dreamed. All the experiences we could even begin to imagine that we want to be having are right here, right now. And the bridge and the way to those experiences is ever available because that is the nature of God. And the nature of God is your nature and my nature. And every atom, every piece of life, everything that we can see and everything beyond what we can see. Is that love? Is that possibility? Is the way to where we are headed? So I absolutely know with deep gratitude that there's nothing in the way. There's only what we make up. And if we make it up, we can stop making it up and make it up different now. And I know that we each say yes to making up more love. I know that we each say yes to being the way God gets here, to being the way love grows and expands its expression on this planet. That is what we are each doing here. I know it without a doubt. And so I just let that truth, that reality unfold in all of its beauty, knowing the goodness of God is the goodness of me and the goodness of you. That is all that is actually true. I let it be. And we all claim this truth together by saying, and so it is. Amen, y'all. Amen. Thank you. Thank you for your willingness to dive into these topics. I know they're not always fun. And I also want to invite you to continue to support the work that we do here together. You can donate by filling out a donation envelope here if you want to do cash or check. You can go online to our website, abqcsl.org, and hit the donate button. And you can text to give, 847-8431, area code 505. Every dollar, dime, penny helps. It helps us to continue to do what we do and do it the way that we do it, and pay all the humans and love on all the volunteers. So all the volunteers and staff who helped make this day happen, can you please stand so we can love on you a bit? Thank you. Truly, it takes many, many hands. All right, let me bring Jeff up so he can talk to us about what's happening in the community. Come on up on the stage so they can see you better online. Is it green?
Hello. I want to start by just saying thank you. Oh, you want me here? Okay. I was wanting to address Scott. Scott, number 2, I just want you to know how much feedback like that for the people that have been kind of holding this together through all that time, how wonderful it is to hear that, and wanting you to know how wonderful it is to see you back with us as well. So thank you so much. For years and years and years here, we've hit this part of the year and we've given it this grandiose name of Season of Light. This year we're switching it up a bit, partly because of that felt experience of what we have been through together and where we really want to go in moving forward. So Amani mentioned it earlier. We're going to, for November and December, we are going to be celebrating oneness. And we tagged it an interspiritual exploration of community, care, and culture. And that in and of itself is just as heady, I think, too. But really what has come out of this whole journey, particularly for me, and I know for most of the people that I've received feedback from, is that the big takeaway is that we really want to and need to take care of each other in a deeper and more connected way. So that's where that community and care and culture, and in our mission statement that we say all the time, we are love in action, transforming lives, transforming communities. That's our culture is one of transformation. The people that have stayed and the people that have invested and the people that are heartfelt, live and breathe this place, live and breathe transformation. It's what we do. So I spoke maybe a month ago about this idea of care, and that really came out of just some personal sadness for me of not being able, during all of the isolation of the pandemic, of not being able to see your faces and even know what was going on in a lot of cases because of the sense of separateness. And so it became kind of a mission of mine we're going to change that. And so I'm creating what I'm calling the Care Crew. It's going to be a care team, and we're to really put into motion this understanding of how to take care of each other better. In your email today, this afternoon, you'll receive a survey that I've put together. And the purpose of that survey is to begin to create the communication mechanism necessary to know what's going on in people's lives, to know that Pushkara is home and needing some help, to know that maybe, Franny can't get around as much as she has before, to know somebody, maybe stuck at home, just incapacitated by fear or by grief or whatever. We're going to be, I'm going to do a survey I want to know that, first of all, just where we are right now. And so part one of the survey is going to deal with identifying needs within the community. And then the second part will be how you might want to get involved in this effort. And whether it's your passion or not, we're going to kick it off with a community-wide effort. So beginning next week, and now that beautifully we get to be together in this indoor space, I don't want us all just running off at 11:15 when the thing ends. So we're gonna have open houses throughout this celebrating oneness season, and probably in perpetuity as long as we're allowed to be in physical space together. We're gonna open up the labyrinth after the service and begin to put together a care drive for this. So whatever comes back from the survey, we're going to be putting together things I know are happening, are craft projects that we're going to be delivering during the holiday season, delivering things to people who cannot be here physically. We are going to be putting together care packages for people that are experiencing food insecurity, and we are going to be putting together outreach teams for this season. It's a way for you to try it out, and if you want to keep doing it, this need is not going to go away January 1st. So we want to get together and learn together this really deep skill of taking care of each other in community and having fun being together right now. So from 11 o'clock till whenever people are done, we're going to be having a chance to do that together. So look in your email today for that survey. It's easy. You just click on the link and you fill out you just answer all of those questions and give me the information, because that was the hard part for me, is not knowing, not knowing who is needing that kind of support. And during the pandemic, it would have been really hard for us to do it anyway, but I just am so committed to changing that dynamic, and I cannot do it without a committed care crew. So this is your invitation to aid in the transformation of this community. So I love you all very much, and look for that. And then December, we will be hitting the road and doing all of the deliveries. So look for all of that information. Take care. I love you.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. You want to take that with you? All right. I love it. The Care Crew. I see T-shirts in our future. All righty, let us have Dino come on up and talk to us about the Prayer Crew.
Thank you, Amani, very much. I want to give a shout out to Kelly for inviting your family here today. It reminds us all about the affirmation of love. I know you've wanted this for a very long time, and so have we for you. Also, I want to extend welcome to our guests. Please know that we see you, we love you, and we welcome you with our open hearts. I want to thank Megan for lighting the candles on the altar today. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Dino. I'm a licensed spiritual practitioner here at the center. And there are several of us here in the room today that are here to provide prayer for you, if that is something that you desire. Would the practitioners please stand at this time? If you are in need of prayer to know the truth of who you are, please get with one of us and we will pray with you for a few minutes. It is our joy. You can also fill out a prayer card, as many of you have. They're in the back by the black boxes. If you'll place your prayer card in the box, the practitioners and the ministers of the center will hold you in prayer. Also, at prayer at ABQ CSL, if you'd like to log on, you can leave your prayer there, and we will also pray for you. I was reminded of a relationship that I've had for about a year with Junior, who is my cat. Many of you know that I've never had a cat. I don't know how to be a cat daddy, but I have learned this past year many things. I typically sleep on my side, so Junior would hop on the bed and hop on my shoulder and walk the length of my body because he wanted something, but I didn't know what he wanted. So this new relationship has been quite difficult for me, trying to maneuver my way through it. So I figured that if I left enough food in his food bowl for the morning time, he wouldn't crawl all over me. So I figured that out. But, you know, it's difficult to know what someone wants, right? And Junior can't really ask, but I guess he asks in his own way, So I do sleep on my side, and I find myself clasping my hands and realizing that I have really all I need, that I am whole and complete in that space. And it is in that space that I realize that there is room for each of you in my life. If you'll take just a moment with me so we can close in prayer, I would appreciate that. There is a special place within us where spirit exists, where the vibration of life is who we are, where all relationships exist, where God's desire for us exists. And we know this place. We welcome this place. We light the candles and the fireplace in this place where love exists, where we all exist. So nice to see so many today with family and friends and holding hands as you walked into the room to be with us today. Let us remember this, that this is who we are, that we are whole and complete, and we are loved. Let us remind each other and ourselves of the kindness of our hearts, and let us extend that relationship to everyone we know. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you, everybody, for being here and being a part of this moment we've created together. I love you so much. Thank you, sweetie. I was just talking about you guys yesterday. I was just telling my mom about your hip campsites and how cute you guys have done your project.